It would be great if you can, switch on your cameras. That would make the class more lively and interactive so that we can see each other. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am.
A very warm welcome. I hope I'm audible.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So we'll
Yes.
Yes,
start
ma'am.
the session. Um, a lot of you have joined in to this art-based therapy certificate course. Now you must be wondering why we are giving it for free. It's basically with an idea that we would like to spread awareness about art-based therapies, because a lot of you may not be aware of this modality, how powerful it is. We are generally equipped with CBT and other contemporary therapies like talk therapy, CBT, behavior therapy. But this particular technique, which I have found over span of 12 to 13 years, it has remarkable power in order to bring out your subconscious, unconscious mind, and fantastic outputs you'll find in your therapy sessions. So a lot of time what happens is we are unable to gauge what to do next, or we find people who are not very comfortable in just talking. They want to express more, but somehow they have this hindrance of expressing that or talking it out. So here comes the role of art based therapies, or play based therapies, wherein you can get into the mode of relaxation, get into the mode of creativity, and bring out the innermost conflicts within the person. So again, welcome to the course, and with a warm heart, I welcome each and every one of you. So just yesterday, we were having this poll of your age group and which profession you are into. So it's really nice to know that so many people with different interests have come together to join in this course. So I really wholeheartedly wish that you learn a lot from this course, and I can impart a few things which I have learned over these few years, and also develop that interest in you about art based therapies. So before proceeding, I would request you to put in as to what you know about art based therapies. So anyone who would like to speak?
Yeah, good evening, ma'am. This side Chandan.
Good evening.
Uh, well, I'm from the field of psychology and I'm a counselor in the school from past 5 years. What I know about art-based therapy, it helps especially in the children. If I see the toddler age or mid-schooler age kids, the art-based therapy really helps me out to in the kids, especially to what's going in their mind, how to if they're struggling in something in studies or some stress, it helps to relieve in art, especially the concentration power. It helps focus and all things. It helps in students.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. Absolutely. So you have already started working on art-based therapies, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else who would like to share? Maybe one or two more responses, and then we'll straight away go to the learning part.
I have to share my insights, so can I?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So I'm a counselor. I completed MSc in applied psychology, and currently I am on counseling field. I want to share basic about art based therapy. It's expressive art based therapy type, which will come under visual arts type, which means we are going to use colors, which we are going to use different type of modalities, textures to as you said before, it is not easy to verbalize feelings or emotions for everyone. So, for those people, it is not only for those people, for everyone, it is easy to put out their emotion or inner feelings, whatever is hidden in form of colors or in form of different modalities. So, I think I feel that art-based therapy partially employs catharsis in it. So this is about my perspective on it.
Absolutely.
Thank
You
you.
are so correct. Catharsis means venting out. That's expressive art-based therapies. So I'll be discussing about the different modalities, but anyone else who would like to take up, and then we'll move on. Anyone who doesn't know anything about art-based therapies but would like
Hello.
to hint.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm a biology teacher, and I have just taken the psychology course as because I find it interesting this subject, and so I am started taking my masters. But regarding this art therapy, so I'm just kind of trying to explore the different field of this subject. So
Mhm.
art therapy, from this name, I only can recollect about the movie Tare Zameen Par, where the child was so much into different difficulties, but through art he could express himself properly, or he have a space where he can express it through. So somehow art therapy is like that. Like where when like many of you have already discussed that words can't express, but we can express ourselves through art, so that will help a person to reveal their thoughts that is going on inside them. So that is all what I understand.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing. And I'm really, really, really excited to, share whatever I have learned or gathered through all these years. So let's go ahead with it. I'm sharing my screen. Just tell me if it's visible or not. The PPT is visible or not. Okay. Just give me a second. Is it visible to all of you? No, it is not.
Yeah, it's
Now?
visible.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
It is. Yes, now visible. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Great. It's a request if you can keep your, voices on mute. Okay. So again, welcome to the course. And you can expect from this course a deeper understanding of art therapy. And I'll come to the terms like art-based therapy, art therapy. I'll come a little later. But for as a start, I can say that art-based therapy is based on art techniques. It's not that you need to be an artist for that, but it is majorly based on art mediums like crayons, pencil colors, sketch pens, paint, etc. So it's about art making, but not in the most perfect way. You will learn about the expressions, various expressions which we generally engage in art-based therapies. Then you will learn about therapeutic techniques. We'll touch upon one or two of the, most valid techniques which we generally use in art-based therapies in order to understand the deeper aspects of the psyche. Then you'll have clinical applications, and we'll touch upon ethical considerations as well. So this you need not copy because I'll be giving you a PDF of this entire PPT. So about Emojar, I'll just briefly touch upon this. So we founded Emojar in 2020 with three of my students, O3, Tista, and Roshmija. We are based out of Kolkata. West Bengal, and we majorly have online classes, online platforms. Along with that, this year we have started offline activities as well. About me, I have done my PhD in clinical psychology, and I'm the founder of Emojar. Along with that, I've done B.Ed and PG diploma in educational technology. So this is all about me, and the interest, what took me to art-based therapy is through certain observations where we had younger children, readily taking in art mediums in order to come up and express. So they were really very happy doing art and craft. And that's where the idea cropped up, exploring the same. At that point of time, you did not hear much about art-based therapies. It's way later when I heard about art-based therapies, when I started exploring, when I started taking up certain classes, certifications, and so. And then there's a lot of book reading also. Okay, certificate criteria, I'll be telling you a little later, maybe towards the end of the class, today's class, or I'll make a separate recording because there's a lot to cover today. So I'm not getting into the details right now. You'll receive all the details as and when we go out. So today what we're going to do is we'll learn about what is art therapy, the basic terminologies, frequently asked questions, touch upon history of art-based therapies, major contributors, because this is one domain where you need to go back and understand how it started. Then the setup of an art therapy room, warming up exercises, techniques. We will learn basic 2 techniques, and additional tools will be provided in your PDF when I send it tomorrow. So as we have already discussed, what is art-based therapies? According to American Art Therapy Association, it is a kind of therapy that integrates mental health along with active art-making process. So the creative process is also applied with psychological theory and human experience in order to come up with a different modality, which is called art therapy. Now, in different countries like US and UK, they have this whole course on art-based therapists. You can become an art therapist after taking up that course, doing rigorous research work, internship hours, and mentorship. After that, you're given a license in order to practice as an art therapist. But in India, it is a totally different situation. We do not have any licensing body in India, not yet. So it's basically people like me and you can take up art-based therapies, learn about it, integrate in your therapy sessions. You may not call yourself as an art therapist, but you can call yourself as an art-based therapist after considerable exposure to this medium. So as and when we go about learning the techniques, you'll see it starts off with very basics, 2 more complex things where you start analyzing art also. So that gives you an edge into understanding human behavior. Okay. So the key goal of art therapy is to improve or restore the client's functioning and the sense of personal well-being. So it's almost similar to other conventional therapies. Someone talked about catharsis. Yes, art therapy can be extremely cathartic when you're engaging in that art process. It can lead to a lot of mindfulness as well. So that gives an extra edge to your therapy sessions. As a therapist, you can, of course, find different modalities in order to engage the client in. So here are a few terminologies which are used interchangeably. So art therapist, as I've already told you, you cannot call yourself legally as an art therapist in India because you don't have clear-cut, courses for it. But interchangeably, you can call yourself an art-based therapist, art therapy practitioner, art therapy coach, or a creative counselor. Initially, I used to call myself as a creative counselor because I integrated art, play, and craft-based techniques into my therapy sessions, which were really, really effective. This is my observation. A detailed description of each is given. So when I send you the PDF, you can go through it and understand what exactly each means. If you have it, ask me later. Okay. A few frequently asked questions. Can anybody become an art-based therapist? I would recommend not so, because you need to have at least a basic background in psychology so that you understand how the mind functions, what are the behavior, what can cause the behavior, and how to kind of, manage the behavior. If you have the basic necessary details, necessary information about human behavior, it would be way more easier to understand art-based therapy. However, you can just take up as an expressive art-based therapist where you just engage in catharsis and do not go into the counseling part as well. So that you can call yourself as an art therapy coach. Okay, is it necessary to be an artist in order to become an art-based therapist? Not at all. You need not be an artist. You need not be good at art. That is not a mandatory criteria. Is it necessary for the client to be an artist or to take up art-based therapy? This is also a big no. The client may not know art. Often I have, when I have placed certain art materials in front of a client, they have said, I don't know how to draw. You have to relax the client, ensure the person that you need not be an artist. It is just about the process, not the product. Please remember this throughout the course. It applies to you as a therapist or an individual, and also for your clients, whoever you are applying this particular technique to. You need not know art. You can be really very bad at art and still take up art-based therapies. So what is the core difference between art therapy and art class? Quickly going through it. Art class will aim at perfecting art. It's basically about how you're drawing things, what are the perfect ratio and everything. It is about the techniques which you are learning. In an art therapy class, it's more about the process. It's about introspection. It's about symbols. It's about colors. It's about lines and the spacing. All these will matter. As a therapist, art therapist, you will be able to understand certain facets of the mind wherein you are reflecting it on paper. That's the most advanced stage, but initially it's all about the process. If you're just putting ink on paper and you're feeling relaxed, it's okay, that's fine. It need not be an artistic outcome, basically. So if you just draw a scribble and you say that this is a cow, that means it's a cow. You cannot challenge the client. Okay, so I'm just giving you an example, but this is how art-based therapies work. Okay, so it's very, very different from an art class. This please keep on repeating if required to yourself as well as the client. So this is a very important aspect. Many a times adults are reluctant in getting into art-based therapies just because of this reason. They become very conscious about the art making process, how they are going to fare, but it's okay. Relax them, assure them that there's nothing wrong in whichever way you draw, right? So brief timeline, I have detailed this in the PDF as well. You can go through the details later on. But I would just like to touch upon the brief history of art therapy. It had its early beginnings in
Excuse me, ma'am.
yes.
Sorry for disturbing.
Yes,
Can you please hide the pop-up in the screen where you're sharing? Thank you.
this is it okay now? I hope so. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
ma'am, better. Thank you.
yes. 18th and 19th century, it all started with William Blake and Van Gogh. I'm pretty sure you know about their paintings, and pretty famous paintings. I'll just show you a few after this slide. So it started off from that point of time where they expressed themselves through different artistic forms. Maybe they were artists, but they believe that they are expressing their inner self. So that's how it all started. Where it went into Freud's psychoanalytical theories. The ego, superego, conscious, subconscious, unconscious. You must have all heard about it, read about it. So it's basically about your subconscious, unconscious mind, which comes out on paper. If you're unable to speak it out, if you're unable to comprehend, that's the time when art-based therapies come into play. So you can take out the most deep insights about a person, the deepest conflicts within a person. Next, Adrian Hill was one person who brought about a sea of changes for art-based therapies, wherein he contracted tuberculosis, if I'm not wrong. He went into the hospital. He had to stay there for rehab. A lot of things happened at that point of time where he was breaking down. That point of time, he started sketching, drawing, and he found that it was very, very effective for him to heal. So after he recovered, he came out, and this became a widespread technique in order to heal others as well. So he spread that technique of art. He started applying it to others who were sick, who were ill, and it brought about a lot of changes in the other people also. Margaret Nomberg also promoted this entire method. So here are a few pictures. This is William Blake. He expressed his inner feelings through these paintings. Van Gogh, we'll be touching upon these paintings in the subsequent classes where we'll be talking about different emotions. Okay, the scream, the middle one is the scream where it depicts anger and anxiety and frustration. So he kind of depicted it through his famous drawing. This is Adrian Hill. He was actually a painter, but then he took up art-based therapies. He was the first one to start the idea of art-based therapy. So these were the books which he wrote. This is Margaret Nomberg. A few books which she wrote on art-based therapies, and these are pioneering in art therapies. They brought about art-based therapies in play. These two are the recognized or associations, Art Therapy Association and the British Association of Art Therapies, US and UK. So you can explore them. If you want to become a member, you can enroll yourself. But again, it's all abroad. So traveling there would be a big problem, but you can always learn from whatever they are offering. There are very good journals on art therapies. So any questions till now before we proceed? Anything? This was a little background of art-based therapies. Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Like my question is, I have psychology in my plus 10 level, 11 and 12, but later on I did my specialization in sociology.
Okay.
And along with that, I did diploma in psychiatric counseling from CSC. Also, there are others were there, Nandina ma'am and others. My question was like, after doing this one, art therapy, this course, like I can like add to my profile as art therapy coach, right?
See, if you do not have a psychology background, but since you have already done a diploma in psychiatric counseling, you might be aware of the subject. You can always call yourself as an art-based art therapy coach, but you cannot call yourself as a therapist. Okay, in India, there is no hard and fast rule as to what you can label yourself, but art therapist is actually not ethical to be put as.
No, I am telling, can I say myself as art therapy coach?
Yes.
Or a creative counselor?
Yes.
And,
those two can be done.
And my main question is, like, since I have, sorry ma'am, since I have an interest in psychology and I have a plan to do masters, so which will be the best one, IGNOU or Netaji Subhash, or which one? Can you please
That we
suggest?
can talk about a little later, ma'am. After we finish the class, I'll send you a query link. You can submit your queries about that.
Okay. Sorry.
So, no, it's okay. We are moving on. So the purpose of art therapy in counseling is for relaxation, for self-exploration, second, and for understanding and resolving conflicts, similar to what other therapy goals are as well. So the first level, generally what we do is we learn step by step. Since this is a foundation course, it would be more of your expressions which will be involved. You know, how you are expressing, how you're engaging, and more about catharsis, venting out, engaging with the art techniques in order to find out what's going on. So it's more on the expressive level. The level two, when you go a little more deeper and you understand the techniques, it's more of exploratory. That means you're attaching personal meanings and finding patterns. You're following a series of patterns. You are more into that system. And the third level is the analytical system, wherein you are taking psychometric tests and scales like DAP, the diagnostic drawing series, metaphor analysis, doodle analysis. Now, a lot of handwriting analysis also comes in. Drawing analysis is one major field. Then you have a house tree person test, then the bird's nest drawing. There are so many other things which comes up in the analysis level. So that's more advanced, and it's more towards doing it in a long-term basis, because you need to learn the techniques, learn the scoring and all. But we'll more or less stick to the first level and the second level, and one or two techniques from the third level. So this is the detailed thing which I have put in for the 3 months. You can go through it later on. Can anyone explain this? The conscious level, pre-conscious level, and the unconscious level by Freud, because you need to know this theory in order to move ahead with art-based theories. So in case you are not aware of it, please read up this. If you need some assistance in understanding, maybe I can make a short video out of it and teach you about the 3 levels. But just for this class, I'm just superficially going through it. Conscious level, if you know about an iceberg, all of you must be knowing about iceberg, what it is.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
the tip of the iceberg we can only see. So according to Freud, according to the psychoanalytical model of our mind, uh, it's only the conscious level which is the tip. We can see a very small fraction about our awareness. Conscious mind is all about awareness, what we already know, our active memory, what we have stored. We are aware of things which are going on around us. So that's the tip of the iceberg. The second level is the pre-conscious. It's more like, what did you do last birthday? Or where were you during, December last year? Or what did you do during Rakhi? Or how was your last day at office? Okay, or what did you eat yesterday or day before yesterday or on your birthday? So these are stored somewhere, but not in your active mind. When I give you a prompt or a cue, you're able to remember. It's stored somewhere. You don't need that information unless and until it's called for. So that's your pre-conscious, subconscious mind. The next layer, which is a huge chunk of information, is the unconscious level. It includes all your fear, instinct, unacceptable wishes, irrational wishes, selfish needs, everything which should not be you. It's sent into the unconscious level so that you are not directly aware of it. Okay, so that's where all the turmoil and all the weird things goes on, and it won't let your brain know that this is what you need. I have the selfish motive. No, I'm not that kind of a person. So it's stored in your unconscious mind, but it comes out through different aspects, through psychological distress and kind of non-explainable behavior. Sometimes we just feel sad out of nowhere. We don't have anything to be sad about, but we are feeling irritated, sad. So these are slips through which the unconscious energy comes out. And it can manifest itself into certain psychological disorders as well. Okay, this is the Freud's theory, which we'll look into. And this particular piece of our mind comes out on the paper as well through drawings. So when you're analyzing your drawings, or when you start analyzing your drawings, you'll see a lot of things which are there in your subconscious, unconscious mind, which you are not even aware of, connects in dots. And that's how you start processing all what is negative inside you. Maybe not consciously, but on a
And
subconscious.
we can also include some bad childhood memories also in the
Absolutely.
adulthood.
Yes, very good point. Because all the memories which were very threatening to the brain to process, it's all sent to the unconscious mind, so that the conscious mind doesn't have to process and you don't have to go through the grill every day. Okay, that's how the mind works. Okay, I hope I was able to impart a little bit of it. If you need more explanation, I'll be making a separate video and sending it across. Okay, this is just to keep in mind. Don't get worried about if you don't know. We'll come back to this later. A brief thing about art therapy rooms. It's not mandatory to have all these, but it would be good if you can start off this way. It can be a private place with maybe a firm outer boundary, so that it's, the walls are sealed, people cannot see through, or people do not have security issues or intrusion. So it should be a calm, reflective place which feels safe, basically. The wall should be light. It should not be too loud with colors. It can be a neutral color. It can be somewhat grayish in color. It can be very soft pastel shades. The more neutral it is, the better it is. And materials, whatever art materials, it's not necessary you'll have to have all the full access of materials, but whatever materials you have, it should be on display. Okay, and good quality art materials, it's not that you just buy cheap paint and keep it, because the output would be extremely poor. If the person is not enjoying what he or she is using, that will give more stress than relax them. So whatever little art materials you have, keep it of good quality. Even clay, modeling clay, plasticine, then kinetic sand, all these are generally kept for using, along with scrap papers, chart papers, colored papers, twilling papers, everything which can be easily accessible to others and can be handled. Scissors, glue, and the like is kept separately, wherein if you are having young children in your sessions, it would not be accessible to them easily. You have to give it to them. But adults, it would be okay to keep it around in open shelves. Somewhat of this kind, art therapy, play therapy rooms, but not necessarily it has to be this way. Okay, whichever way you can accommodate. If you have already a counseling room for yourself, you can just keep a few, stacks of stationery out there, and you can do it in your therapy sessions. Not necessary that you have to dedicate a whole room to art-based therapy. Okay, these are the general materials which we use. You can keep a art journal of this size or even larger ones, so that it's easier to document whatever you're doing for the classes. Okay, my recommendation would be to keep an art journal or maybe a few pages which you can staple or bind together and do all your artwork or your reflection on that. Okay, because whichever technique I'll be showing you, you'll be doing it for yourself first and then applying it to others. Okay, because you also need to understand what you will go through, what is the entire process like, okay, before applying it to others. So let's start with the icebreaker. Enough of talking, I guess, enough of background work, but that was necessary. So let's get started with the icebreaker. Today's icebreaker, I hope you all have a sheet of paper and a pen. Yes? Okay. So this will be not an art-based therapy, but just a reflective activity. So I hope you can see something on the screen. Yes? Okay. So I would request you to just pause and look at it for 30 seconds. Some people are just looking like this, trying to figure out what am I showing on screen. Okay, that's the beauty of art therapy. Let's get going. I hope you have seen it. Now, I would like you to reflect on this. This is basically called a scribble, where you see it doesn't take up any form, right? It's just a few lines here and there, and it forms a kind of a shape, not a shape. It's up to you how you decipher. But looking at this, what are the emotions which the scribble evoked? Can you just quickly write it down, maybe in the chat, or just talk about it quickly, maybe once.
Anger.
Anger, okay. Okay. What else?
It relaxed me.
Relaxed you? Okay.
Bored.
Fine.
Like nothing to do.
Anxiety.
Nothing to do.
Lack of
Anxiety.
clarity.
Anxiety.
Confused,
confusion,
confused.
Okay,
Calmness.
chaos, irritation, hard work, effort,
Anxious.
confused. I can see a lot of confusions.
uncertainty,
Good.
frustration.
Frustration.
Bored. Okay. My previous lecture has bored some of you. That's why you're writing bored. Okay. Okay.
Ma'am,
Anxiety,
it is an
frustration,
angry bird.
confusion, angry. I found my name's first letter. Nice. Okay.
Aggression.
Fine. Angry. Okay. Fine.
Ma'am,
Okay.
it is
Next
looking like
question.
an angry bird.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Okay. So next question, she already answered. Do any shapes or patterns stand out to you?
It looks like an anchor, something that trying to be hold on to itself, or like a weapon
Okay.
also, like a arrow or something.
A
Okay.
cloth flowing.
Soldier, guitar, lying down, arrow, letter R, a bird. Okay, fine, plain. So we see a lot of different
Different
shapes.
alphabets.
See how one scribble comes out with so many different aspects. You know, our minds work in so many different levels. Flying birds, fish, hair clip, sea animal, sharp edges, a sari cloth. Okay, it looks like a Squidward. Okay, SpongeBob. Great. So many responses from y'all. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are coming with a lot more. So, next question. How does interpreting the scribble relate to your life? I would just reflect on this and ask you to use the metaphor in it. Say a person has kind of written kite. How does it relate to you? What kind of metaphors can you find out from there? How does it mean to you? What does it mean to you? Relate the emotion, the object. Okay, metaphor would be for a kite. If I have to ask you, what does kite, kind of apply as? How do you see a kite for yourself?
Freedom.
Freedom. Okay, free flowing freedom. If you would have asked me, it would be more like free flowing and freedom. Right, so I just give you an example. Whatever objects you can see, try to understand what meaning does it represent to you. Okay, what is the meaning? You cannot keep on analyzing every bit of information you're getting, but I'm asking you to do it for yourself. What is the meaning you're attaching to it? Done? Are you done?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, confused or done? You have your own personal meaning, so attach it with that and try to relate with the emotion which you first expressed. If someone wants to, kind of talk about it, I may help you in understanding this.
I'm
Anyone who wants to?
confused.
Yes.
Yeah, can I volunteer? I'm confused with
Yes,
the
of course.
drawing because the emotion I got after seeing the drawing was uncertainty.
Okay.
Uh, and
Uncertain.
the uncertainty. The object I first I see from this is like just like a hook, inverted hook, and
Inverted. Sorry.
hook, H-O-O-K,
Okay.
hook.
Hook. Okay.
Something used for
Inverted
fishing,
hook.
a small hook. Hmm,
Okay.
that's
So
it. I
confusion and
can't relate
inverted
really.
hook. And what is the metaphor? What is the meaning of a hook? Hook for you? Inverted hook for
Hmm.
you? How does it? How do you
Uh,
relate to it?
hook is something for hanging or catching something.
Okay. So is it somewhere, relating to your everyday life that maybe you're confused with something and you want to come up with some catch, something where you can hold on to and get that going in your life? Some answer you're looking for in your everyday life.
Maybe now I'm getting with that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Right. So anyone else? Maybe one more and then we go on to the main
Ma'am,
techniques. Yes.
ma'am, I saw firstly an anchor, but I more focused on a bow. So what I feel is emotion is like it's bit like emotional, kind of like being struggling, and seeing every day as a struggle part, but also in a creative sense, doing hard work. So yes.
So you kind of got your answer, what you need to do, isn't
Yes,
it?
yes, ma'am.
Okay. What about others? See, I'm unable to read all your responses. I'll definitely go through it, but I'm sure you may have been able to relate to it, right?
I excuse me. I related it as some confusion and clutter. I couldn't make out anything.
Okay. Confusion, clutter, and then what was the object which you saw? Did you see any object?
No,
Anything? You
frankly
couldn't?
speaking, no. That's why, because I went through so
Okay.
many things, but couldn't relate to anything. That was,
Okay, take your time, doesn't matter. It might also reflect what there's a block, there's a self-sabotaging block.
yeah,
It's more like, you've reached your saturation. Maybe you have to relax for some time. There are too many things in your head.
yeah, might be.
So there might be a creative block out there. So we need to
Yeah.
relax. We need to do something which we like and sleep more.
Oh,
Okay.
Ma'am,
So this
is it
was
like he doesn't want to reveal, or just guarded and doesn't
It
want
can
to?
be, yes, of course, of course. See, over here, we are not analyzing from a therapist viewpoint, we are analyzing ourselves. So that's why I told you about the metaphor. What is your metaphor about that particular object and the emotion, and how can you relate the two? So the moment you ask the person under concern, you will find out a lot of things about the person. Where there was a block in talking, you'll be able to elicit certain conversation through this very, very quick, simple technique. So that's why it was put as an icebreaker, because this is pretty fast to interpret, understand, and to get the conversation rolling. Okay. So it'll
Ma'am,
be, yes,
yeah,
yes.
yes, we are, ma'am. So, what about, when I'm not able to see any object, but I see letters?
So that's
When I
kind
saw
of a
this
creative.
scribble,
Hmm.
yeah.
So that's a
Okay, when
creative
I,
block. Yes, maybe you're
okay,
too stressed at this moment, too many things in your head. So that will also give an indicator that the person needs some kind of relaxation, immediate relaxation, some kind of time management tools in order to move ahead with certain things, isn't it? So that's also a
okay,
cue for you as a therapist. If there's a mental block, not only for this technique or any technique where they cannot see anything at all in these abstract figures, so that kind of indicates it's a creative block somewhere.
but I see letter. What about that?
Sorry.
But I can see a letter like T.
So
Would that also
T
be
resembles
blocking?
what for you?
I just
No, if you have
realized,
seen
the
something.
first.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah. So when I first saw this scribble, I saw the letter T, and then later on, I realized that
Mhm.
that's what my name starts with. My name starts with T,
Yes.
and
Mhm. What was the emotion
so what
associated
could
with it?
that?
Emotion.
In the beginning, I saw this. Yeah, I saw this as a wired thoughts, like a lot
Mhm.
of wired thoughts. So that was what I felt when I saw this, and I realized that, okay, like lately I've been going through a lot of thoughts and responsibilities. Then I realized about the letter that starts with my name.
Right, right. So maybe prioritizing yourself would be a good idea. Prioritizing yourself.
Okay.
How can you put more focus on your own self care, basically, and what is important to you? It's not
Okay, thank you.
necessary to have interpretation from. Yes, of course, it's not necessary to have interpretation. This is just an icebreaker. It would be basically a kind of a connection rapport build up. You may just simply chuck out the interpretation part and just talk about, okay, why do you see it, what is the what is the meaning to you as well. You need not interpret at your level. Okay, moving on. I know there are lots of
Oh, ma'am, just
I go
one
through
doubt
it later
from
on.
last night.
So this is another icebreaker which you can do it as an assignment. Draw a doodle. This is basically your assignment for this week. So these are the things which you need to doodle out. I feel, I wish, I think, I need, I hope, I want. So it's only through doodles. No matter how bad the doodles are, you can go ahead and do it. Doesn't matter at all. So this is your assignment for the week. This is also an icebreaker, which is very light and fun. So when you start doodling out things, you will see in the therapy sessions, there are a lot of things which comes up and you can question around them. You can always introspect, ask the person to introspect and come up with certain conversations. Okay, I hope you've written this down. However, I'll send this PDF. Okay, the next two parts, today's class, I'll be focusing more on colors and lines and shapes. Okay, so why these two? Because throughout your process of learning art-based therapies, these two are the things which will come up more often. Not that you have to learn about all the meanings associated with it, but to understand what is the predominant pattern which is coming up. Okay, so basic outline will be given to you about lines, colors, and as well as doodles, which I'll be taking up next week. But for the time being, lines and colors, we'll explore how it impacts us. Okay. So I'm moving on to the first technique, which is what color are you today? So before we start off, I would like you to just relax, maybe switch off your camera if you want to, but switch it on back after we are done with the relaxation. Just calm yourself down, close your eyes. Sit in a comfortable position. Closing your eyes will help you to focus more. So just simply close your eyes and just let your thoughts wander. Just keep wandering for a little bit. Start focusing on your breathing. Focus on how you're breathing. Inhaling and exhaling. And try to relax your entire body. When you're relaxing all your muscles one by one, try to focus on how you're feeling inside. What are the feelings coming up? Breathe in that emotion and try to feel that, in your entire body. Focus on your breathing again. And understand how you're feeling inside. What is the predominant feeling inside you? Now, as you're breathing in and out, try to activate a color. Do not force yourself to think about any particular color, but whichever color comes to your mind. It can be any color. Don't force your mind to see a color, a particular color. It also can be that you don't like that color at all, but it still comes up. Try to understand what kind of color you are seeing and what it represents, how it's coming up in your mind. And on counting 3, you can open your eyes and come back to where we left. Okay, if you're done, you can put in your comments as to which color you saw. Okay, light green, lavender, a lot of different colors, right? So when you were engaging in this, how did you feel, even if it was for 2-3 minutes?
It was good to like check in with oneself.
Right? Check in. You can prolong this process of relaxation, which is called grounding. Okay, you can get the person into a deep state of relaxation, or you can do it just as quickly as we did. Here, what we are looking at is, sorry, here we are looking at different colors, pink, blue, yellow, green, which has different psychological meanings to us. So it's basically a check-in activity wherein you are. Excuse me, can you please mute yourself? Thank you. So it's basically about all the color energies which we are feeling inside, and it's a quick way of understanding how we are feeling. Okay, so since you have labeled your emotion and associated with the color, can you link up the two? Can anyone volunteer in?
Ma'am, can I?
Yes, please.
Ma'am, predominant feelings are like I'm feeling sad and I'm still struggling and also achieving. And
Right.
then color comes up green. So I can relate that, yes, I am going through and sailing. I am achieving also. So what I relate is green is I am not stopping, I'm going in.
Okay, okay. Great. Okay, before we get into what the colors would mean, there's a brief description. There are warm colors, there are cool colors, and then there are neutral colors. So warm colors would indicate energy. Okay, the red. Generally, red signifies a lot of anger. Okay, there's a lot of physics into it as well. We'll not get into those details, but as an overview, red color generally signifies a lot of anger, energy, restlessness, and a lot of things happening together. So red is a full energy color, followed by orange. Orange is a more positive color, which also has certain aspects of positive energy. The third one is yellow. Yellow is learning color or concentration color, wherein if you are using too much of yellow, it indicates anxiety issues as well. If you're using in moderation, it's about learning new things and being very optimistic about things. Green is a healing color, progressing color, wherein you feel that yes, you are progressing in life. You have certain fresh energies which are coming up. You have fresh ideas. So it's basically a learning color. Followed by blue. Blue is a communication color. Okay, it's a calming color. You you need to be very calm in order to communicate certain things to others. If you're very excited, you'll not be able to put the thoughts together and communicate. If you're too dull or too subdued, that time also you're not able to process information and communicate. So blue, it can be bright blue to a dark blue. Blue is always a communication color. Then you have your violet, purple. All these are more of colors which are related to your imagination. Okay, it's like you overthink a lot, maybe you daydream a lot, imagine a lot rather than doing certain tasks on ground. So it's more like you are very, very imaginative. If you're using more often a violet, purple, these colors may reflect that you're heavily distracted. Okay, so these are a few colors. Brown, gray can be colors which are very earthy, very down to earth, boring. Okay, generally it's not boring, but of course you are a very mature person. You kind of ground yourself too much. You become serious at the smallest context. You lack that bubbliness in you if you're using too much of gray and browns. um, then you have pink. Pink is all about empathy building, and you are too empathetic. Maybe if you're using too much of pink all around you, it's more about you have that empathy quotient inside you. Not that it's harmful, but too much of it can be taken it as lack of boundaries. You kind of go with the flow. You take up secondhand stress from people around you. Black is an absorbing color. If you are using too much of black, it's more like you're absorbing other people's energy. So you're easily affected. You like to be in the background, not in the foreground. Since you're absorbing all the energies, you're not very sure of what you're doing. Okay. White, on the contrary, is a rejecting color. If you're using too much of white, that means you have become indifferent in your environment. You just don't want to take in any more emotions. You're cutting off from your environment. Maybe it's reflected as peace, but peace in a way that you have contained yourself well. Okay, so these are few color meanings. The PDF has all of it, okay, in details. But for the time being, how can you use it for yourself? Like, since you checked in right now, could you link up with your emotional state? Can someone, come up with your responses?
Ma'am, can I
Yes,
share?
ma'am.
Yes, please.
So, ma'am,
Yes, ma'am. So,
Yes, tell me.
yes, ma'am. So, I saw the color orange, and as you said, it is a positive color. So, I did link it up with happiness, but not like total happiness. There was a little frustration that might be mixed with it.
Okay, so try to figure out why. You need to journal in why, as to why. Even if I'm happy, why am I frustrated? So this can lead to a lot of introspective questions as well. It's not that you have to analyze it all the time. You can ask the person itself, give them a brief outline as to which color is for what, and then ask them to kind of interpret your emotions with this. Okay, so how would you interpret this? Orange and frustration?
It may be because my degree is coming to an end.
Okay.
And I have to figure out what to do next.
Okay.
So that might be a reason, and I have to move back home after it ends. So that might also be a reason.
Okay. So you've got all full enthusiasm wherein you are very positive about certain things, but at the same time, you're a little irritated with some fact, frustrated with some facts.
Yes.
So try to, do this exercise every single day and see if things are changing, the colors are changing or not. Okay, this is a long-term thing. This is not just one thing. This is a regular check-in exercise which you can do it. Right? I'll show you a template. I'll give you a template to work on. Anyone else?
Ma'am, I would also like to share. So I could see gray, and with that gray, I could relate to that, a lot of stress, also that calmness, because a lot of things going on in my mind, and then still having this thing, कि अच्छा ठीक है छोड़ दो जो होगा देखा जाएगा. So stress also, but that thing also that okay fine, we'll leave it, whenever what happens we'll see about it. So that's why gray, I think for me it was like neither on the white side nor on the black side. It's like in the middle, like just let it go.
But is it helping you?
As of now, yes, but on a longer run it will not.
Yes. So it's basically indicating that you have to take actions.
Yes.
Even if it's unpleasant.
Ma'am, can I?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So the emotion I felt was like a little anxious or struggling to settle down as soon as possible. And the color I got very first is like a baby pink color, in a square shape baby pink color. As soon as you said to stick with the color, I had different colors flowing here and there. Baby pink suddenly faded off. Suddenly I got black, then gray, then brown. Not I can't stick to one particular color.
See, a lot of colors means a lot of confusion. So it's like a mixed bag of feelings which you may be experiencing. What do you feel about this? Someone else also wrote that there's a lot of colors
we discussed
coming
about
up.
color interpretation.
So it can be a state of confusion where you cannot maybe pinpoint as to what you're feeling or what is going on in your life right now. So a state of confusion may reflect through a jumbled emotional set through these colors.
Oh, okay, thank you.
And I'd like to
You
share.
try to respect your own way. I may be wrong about this because you might be going through a lot of mixed emotions at this moment about a particular issue, or maybe a lot of issues which are there in your life. So try to figure out what maybe, kind of introspect and write down about it. And try to check in every day for the next 1 week and see how you're feeling about things.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, I basically saw blue and white color, but it was not in the form of only colors. I basically saw a river. It was like a flowing river. So,
Right.
like a high tide, low tide kind of thing, because I think that was just a reflection of my whole day today. It has gone just like that. My emotions were haywire. Sometimes I was very frustrated because the things which I wanted to complete today were not completed. At the same time, I made another strategy because I had hopes that tomorrow it will be done. So I'm still
Mhm.
trying, and there was a calmness that okay, now I can try tomorrow. So
Absolutely.
it
So
was
you
like
problem
I think
solved.
yes, ma'am. I really hope that it was that thing.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else? Then we'll move on.
Ma'am, can I share, please?
Oh,
Yes.
So in the first time I saw like blue, like teal, and I
Mhm.
saw an ocean which
Mhm.
was first calm and then it was moving a lot. And then
Okay.
it felt like there needs to be some calmness, but I'm not really happy with what I'm doing or where am I. And in the
Mhm.
first Scribble one, I saw an anchor, which meant that, you need to settle down, you need to ground yourself. So these are like very two different things happening at the
Mhm.
very same time.
So
It felt
how
like I
can
just need to move.
yes, what is the message behind this? Maybe the color, since it's blue, it's communication, isn't it? So communication, then turmoil, then anchoring. What might it reflect?
I think it's more like if it's like grab an opportunity with that anchor and then
And
settle down.
just
If
keep
you're
your
not
mind.
happy, then keep moving.
Yes, it's more like expressing what you need. So if blue is coming up more often, it's about expressing what you need.
Yeah, I'm very bad at that. It comes out more, it doesn't come out as words, it comes out more as an anger and irritation. And then
Right.
after the entire thing calms down, and then there is the conversation happening. But till then, the mood is already spoiled.
Right, right. So communication would be maybe a key for you to, settle down with whatever is happening.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
So I hope you will be able to, kind of understand what's happening. It's not only today, it's not only now. What you do is, as an assignment, do it for a week till next week and see how your patterns are evolving. Once I give you the PDF, you'll have all the color meanings. Even if you don't go through the meanings, you'll be able to understand how you're feeling on an each day basis. So this is one simple exercise which you can do, which is called the mood tracker. Mood tracker is basically, through this technique you can do, there's a different mood tracker also, wherein you assign a color to one particular emotion and then you track your mood every day. So I would give this as an assignment to you for this entire course. So if you can track your mood and try to reflect on how it's changing. So it's in a form of a graph. The template which I'll be giving you is will be in a form of a graph. I'll attach a short description with it, maybe a video description as to how you can go about it, wherein you fill on each color, means fill on each day with a different color which you have already stipulated as an emotion. Say, for instance, I have put red as maybe energetic, yellow as being, maybe sad, blue as being communicative, or green as being envious. So all these emotions I list down first, and maybe gray as anxious. List down, and then date wise, you fill in each block with that color which you're feeling every day. Okay, or alternatively, you can do the exercise which you have just done on an everyday basis. Fill it up with colors which you're experiencing, and let's see how the pattern evolves. Okay, and what all you were experiencing when you when you saw that color, when you're feeling that emotion. Okay, so assign a particular color to your emotion and drop in that box. I'll give you the template for this. So any questions so far?
I
Anything you
have a
would like to
question
ask?
here. So
Yes.
the thing is, what if we see the color that is associated, let's say that a certain application or a certain wall or a certain place has a certain color, and what if my present mood is because of that particular place or object that we have, that the emotion is associated with? What if the color that most comfortably comes to us is that one? For example, a certain application, like WhatsApp is green. So what if I think of the color green, but the emotion felt is something very negative because of something that happened on that application? In that case, could it mean a creative block?
Sorry, could it mean?
Could it mean a creative block then? Because I'm not being able to come up with my own color.
Okay, you are unable to see any color at all?
No, ma'am, I did see. I'm just giving an example here. Like in my case, I saw a dark navy blue color, but the emotion I felt was anger, desperation, a want, and I felt rushed also. So it was an association with a certain object, but that color, that object is of the color dark navy blue. So I saw that color. I mean, I couldn't come up with a color of my own, but whatever evoked this emotion in me is dark navy blue in color. So what if that happens?
See, all your emotions which you were reflecting, like frustration, anger, and you feeling restricted, is again related to blue, which is a communication color. Maybe there is a lack of expression, communication and your expressions. Why is it being blocked? So that color will indicate what you need at that moment. Okay, so maybe communicating, expressing yourself in a way where you can make people understand, or maybe make yourself understand, will help you to deal with these negative emotions.
Okay.
Right, so it will give you a clue as to what you need to work on. Say if you're seeing pink and then you are seeing a lot of aggressive negative emotions, if you are having that negative emotion, it might mean that, mellowing down, empathizing with others will help you process those negative emotions. Right? Any questions? Anything?
Thank you, ma'am.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes. So what if a
Yes.
person cannot see any color? There is no color.
If the person doesn't see any color, that can also indicate a creative block, or maybe too many things to process.
Okay.
They cannot see a
Okay,
color.
so it's like a defense. When you have too many things, you don't want to show up anything at all, so that the brain doesn't process any threat. So it can be an indicator of negative emotions, creative blocks, which needs to be, the person needs to be relaxed. So stress management helps here.
Ma'am, I have a doubt.
Ma'am, how are these colors standardized? Because when we do this temperature thing with the kids for anger management, or what are you feeling? What color are you feeling? So if they say red, we move towards towards anger. Now we need to move towards the green zone. Even when we teach them zones of regulations, so colors have a different meaning. So, ma'am, how do we put colors meaning here? I mean, red can be love for me, love can be anger for someone. So, how are we understanding colors here?
See, if there are predominant color patterns in all the drawings, which you'll be doing gradually, you'll be building up on all the techniques, you'll see predominant color patterns will have specific meanings and emotions attached to it. Okay, as a kind of a color key, you can use any color and any emotion. But if you are looking at the color psychology perspective, wherein a lot of physics, chemistry, bio is attached, there's a lot of work done in this field, color psychology. So if you look into that, there are standardized meanings to each of these colors. Okay, and that is explained through physics, chemistry, and bio. So we have to just go by the color meanings. If I get a chance, I will definitely explain how color therapy or color psychology works. Okay,
ma'am.
so
Thank you.
that will touch upon these three domains.
Ma'am, what if a physically challenged person or a person, especially a blind person, comes for ABT therapy? Can he or she perform it? Can she imagine a color?
See, if the person had an experience with color, that's a different thing. But if the person already is blind from birth, then color perception will not be useful here. So you can use other techniques like scribbles and doodles and maybe catharsis painting. Okay, where we use paint, fluid
Hmm.
paint, where they touch it, where you use tactile, sensory, substances like clay, kinetic sand, and the like. So there, generally with children, play therapy works much more better than art-based therapies.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so this is your, I guess, second assignment. I'm moving on to technique 2 because we just have half an hour approximately, and this will be like pretty elaborate. So let's do this quickly. For this, you will be needing 16 rectangles. You can have post-its, you can have small pieces of paper. So I'll just give you a minute to work on this. 16 papers, 16 sheets, small sheets. So this technique is called the Gratz scribble technique. You'll get the hang of understanding color meanings when you get the PDF. You might have to go through it 3-4 times in order to understand which color is for what, but not necessarily that you have to, learn them up. Once you start doing things, you'll be able to automatically understand what's going on and how you will introspect. For scribble technique, this is the easiest way to build rapport. Okay, you can just start off with a squiggle. That's called dancing on paper. This is another technique which we generally use. We turn on the music and you need to just squibble around on the paper and then color small spaces. So that's the easiest way to get children or even adults going in the first art therapy class, where you just let them loose. They are not very conscious of what they are drawing. So either a scribble are rounded lines. A scribble is a zigzag line which doesn't have any form. So 16 sheets
Can
of
you please
paper,
repeat? I can't
small sheets of
understand. Should I
paper.
cut the paper into
Yes, you need to cut it. Or you can just fold a paper and keep separate sections. But why we need to cut it is to group them. So grouping them is important in the second step. So it would be easier if you cut them. Or else you have to unnecessarily number and then it gets confusing. 16 sets of paper. So this can be of this size. I hope you can see. This can be small sheets of paper. If you have post-it, you can use post-it also. These sheets of
Rectangular, right?
rectangular, square, any shape, but you just need 16 small sheets of paper. I hope you have your color boxes also with you, color pencils or crayons. Even sketch pens will do, because this is a scribble, you can use any medium. Okay, are we ready?
Yes, ma'am.
So approximately you will get 5 to 10 minutes to work on this. Okay. And I will show you a series of words on the screen. Okay, as I show you a series of words on the screen one by one, there will be 16 words. And I'll show you each word on the screen for some amount of time. Within that time, you have to scribble out. Scribble means you can just randomly scribble whichever way you want to. There's no right or wrong to it. You need not structure it. It's just like very fast, you'll have to scribble it out. Okay.
Do we have to write that word by scribbling or draw
You,
it?
yes, I'm coming to it. After you scribble, when the word is shown, you have to write it at the back of the page. Okay, whichever word comes up, you write it and then scribble. Or make it a point that you write the word for which you scribbled on. And when you see the word, try to relate it and then scribble.
Ma'am, are we supposed to use different colors?
That's up to you. It's up to you which color you use. It can be any kind of color you're using. Okay, so there's no hard and fast rule for it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, let's go then. Are you all ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
So this is the basic instruction. I will say a few words. Please depict the impression or inner motion you experience in response to the words, using spontaneous lines or shapes that do not depict the object. So it will be basically a scribble. You can use one folded cell for each word. So each of these papers you can use for one word. Okay. After you are done, you keep it aside. When you have done this, faintly write the word on the reverse side of the paper so that it does not show through. All right. Okay. So are we ready?
Yes.
These are a set of words which I'll be giving you. Do not write anything at this moment. These are 16 set of words which I'll be giving you one by one. There will be a timer, but we won't take 15 minutes. I'll be giving you approximately 5 to 10 minutes. The faster it is, the better it is to express. Okay. So we'll do it as quickly as possible. However, there is no time limit. So it depends on which population you are catering to. Are we ready now?
No.
Okay. So ready. Here you go. First word is anger. Next word. Next word is hate.
Ma'am,
Next
I'm
word.
unable to scribble. Only abstract figures are coming in my mind.
Next word is forgiveness. You just follow my voice, ma'am. There's nothing to see. Next word is attraction or love. Next word is jealousy. Next word, desire. Next word is despair. Next word, resistance. Next word is safety. Next word is aggression. Next word is loneliness. Next word can be any word of your choice. Okay, it can be any word of your choice. Anything which pops up into your mind. Do not force yourself to think. Next word, father. And the last word, mother. I think there's one more.
Ma'am, one more word, ma'am.
No, it's all done. So mother was the last word. Okay, I hope you all were able to finish it. Okay. Now we have one left. How many did we do? 1 second.
15.
15. So we went through all these, isn't it? Okay, we missed out on dance. You can do that quickly. Dance. We missed out on that word, dance. Okay, so we are done with 16 of them. So you might be having these cards with you with all the scribbles on it. Okay, I've just done it with pen because I didn't feel like using any colors today. So you may have done it in different shades and colors. This activity, you need to be very, very crisp and quick. Okay, since it's a scribble activity, it has to be brisk. Now, what you need to do next is whichever cards you have, you'll see different patterns coming up, isn't it? You'll have zigzag, you'll have a mesh, you'll have circular ones, right? So what you do next is try to group them. Say these two looks similar, like the waves and the kind of scribbles I have, these two look similar. So I'm going to group them in one section. Do not look at the words right now. Okay, just whichever group it belongs to, try to group them. If you have a very different scribble, that can be only one scribble in that group. So there can be multiple groups of scribbles. Okay.
What if
First,
there
lay
is no
them in front
scribble?
of you.
Maybe I've
How
just
is it,
written a
ma'am?
word. Maybe I've just written a word or a line.
You have written something?
Yes.
Okay. Generally, we tend to instruct for a scribble, but in case you have written something, that can be a separate group altogether.
Okay.
Okay, that can be one single group. First, lay all of them, 16 of them, and then try to group them in stacks. Okay.
Ma'am, should we combine dark and light shade together or
Yes, yes,
should
yes.
not?
Only the patterns we'll look into.
Oh, okay.
Only the patterns, yes.
Mom, what if we have made certain things like maybe a flower or a heart or something like that?
Yes, that can be a separate group where you have drawn doodles. You can put it into a separate group altogether.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Go by instinct rather than certain rigid instructions. You just tend to, everything will not be same, but whichever you feel is similar looking to you, you can group them together. Like for me, this pattern, can you see? This pattern and this pattern, it's almost similar, but I've grouped them separately because this is kind of a mesh and this is just few zigzag lines. Okay, so similar, but it's a little different for me. So you can also group them differently. Now the next step, okay? Try to figure out which all words you have grouped together. This is important. Which all words have you grouped together and you have scribbled in a similar way?
How many groups do we need to make?
There are no hard and fast rules, ma'am. It can be that all of them are similar looking, so you group all of them together, but that rarely happens. Generally, I have 4 in a stack or 2 or 1 in a stack, so it can be any number of groups. Doesn't matter. I have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups with my 16 scribble sheets. You can have 2, 3, even more. It's up to you.
Ma'am, I have 7 groups.
No, that's fine. That's okay. So my words, which are kind of grouped together, the first group is despair, dance, anger, and mother. Okay, so mother and father, you need to understand which group they belong to, in fact. I'm trying to figure out where is my. Okay, my father's group is with father, forgiveness, loneliness, fear, desire, and safety. So that's kind of, I can relate to certain things about this. Then I have a single grouping as jealousy. There's no other emotion related to it. Then I have aggression and love and attraction together. And the last, hate, resistance, and mother. My conflict was mother. So were you able to group them all?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, my mother and father are in the same group.
That can be possible, not an issue at all.
It's like
But
happy
just try to
mother,
figure out. Mhm.
happy mother, despair, resistance, and father are all in the same group.
Okay, okay. All right. Just try to introspect. Okay, try to introspect as to how mother and father is placed with other emotions. And why do you feel, and how are these emotions related to your relationship with your mother and father? Why we are looking at mother figure and father figure? Basically, it's about a female prototype and a male prototype. Okay, so your relationship with your father and mother will percolate through other relations also. Okay, so when you group them together, try to introspect and write down how you can, relate these words with your mother and father figures, the male figure and the female figure. Are you able
But
to relate?
And is associated with dance, so I don't know how to interpret
Sorry?
this now.
Sorry?
Father,
Which one?
father word with dance.
Okay, yes. The word dance is basically a kind of a metaphor. Dance means energy. Here it means energy. Any kind of energy which is, a positive energy, in fact. Life. Dance is all about life. Okay, it's more about your life, the entire life.
I have not scribbled for father or mother.
Okay, you have not.
No, I couldn't do anything.
Oh. Okay, but those two are grouped together then?
Yes, yes.
That has to be grouped together because they are blank.
Yeah.
Try to understand where you have dance, which words you have dance with.
Dance is alone.
Alone. Okay. So isn't it just 1 minute? So isn't it more like your loneliness about yourself and your parents? There's some kind of conflict going on. So try to figure out why it is so, and how other emotions are also related to each other.
Ma'am, I have jealousy, despair, and safety together.
Okay, jealousy, despair, and safety.
Safety, mother.
Okay.
Yes, in
So
some
all these
groups,
emotions, yes.
yes, in
All
some
these.
yes, I just want to say that in some groups this is happening with me also, that two opposing emotions are there together.
Yes,
that's
there
happening.
can be a conflict area. If it is opposing, that means there's a conflict which is going on, which is not letting you function to the fullest. Not everyone will have such combinations, but if you are in fact experiencing this, that means there is some issue where it's approach and avoidance conflict.
Ma'am,
Okay,
same
maybe
way I have like fear, safety, desire, and hate in one combination.
right, fear, safety, desire, and hate. So
Hate.
try to understand how it relates to each other. Fear and safety, desire and hate.
Okay. Yeah.
Try to give it your meaning. How is it related? How are you trying to figure out these emotions?
Okay.
How is fear related to safety? How is jealousy related to hate?
Yeah. Okay.
Ma'am,
So
I have
Can I?
combination of father forgiveness, and aggression, fear, and anger, career, hate, and lover and mother together, and the last one is desire and resistance.
see, in this technique, it's a very powerful way of understanding what's going on within the person. Okay, if you are able to relate, if you need to introspect for some time. So right after this class, maybe you can do some journaling, or maybe tomorrow also you can do some journaling on this. Like, how are these emotions related to each other? What is your personal meaning to it? So once you do it with someone else, they will come up with a lot of insight into each feeling which they are feeling and how they have grouped together. Say for instance, my stack wherein I've given loneliness, forgiveness, father, fear, safety, desire. It kind of sums up because I've got a strict father from my childhood. So it was like I couldn't connect with him so well. So it's more like when I was growing up,
I
kind of loathing. So
can
this particular thing kind of resonates. So similarly, you can also do the same thing. Yes, ma'am.
But
Yeah,
I just wanted to ask this thing. My forgiveness, resistance, despair has come together with my father, but I am absolutely very dependent on my father, especially
Okay.
emotionally. I do go up to my father for suggestions and everything. So I'm a little like, why is it, why despair, resistance, forgiveness? I understand. Um,
Try
I,
to understand why this comes up, your resistance and despair. See, I will not be the right person to tell you what you're going through. Maybe I can hint, but it's
Yeah,
up to
ma'am.
you. It's you who will come up with your own explanations. Try to figure out why these words popped out and what can be the significance of it. Right?
right. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
You need to journal. That would be your assignment. The journaling part would be your assignment. Yes, Parikshit. Tell me.
Yeah, ma'am. I got with my mother. I got forgiveness and safety. Okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
And when it comes to my father, there are lots of things popping up like resistance, jealousy, love, desire. Despair, hate, and fear. Okay.
Mhm.
While
Mhm.
aggression and anger are in same group,
Mhm.
and strength and desire is in one group, and loneliness and dance is in one group. Okay, so
Okay.
like so like I like two or three group are like it's coming like according to my with my own senses and all, but one or two thing is
Mhm.
like dance and loneliness, like you cannot make the connection
Mhm.
how both these are
See,
coming up together, like
dance,
how can it
yeah.
relate?
Dance is about your life. There can be a sense of loneliness which you might be going through right at this moment. It's not that it's a predominant thing throughout your life, it can be the present condition. Okay, so
Okay.
loneliness, it's not only about being lonely, not having people around you, it can be a lot of areas in your life. Okay, so try to introspect. I can give you a lot of explanation and all, but it's very important to introspect and find out your own reasons why these emotions are
Okay.
grouped together. See, it's almost 40 minutes past the class time, but I will just quickly wrap up. The scribble types which you generally get is these. You'll have lines with positive words containing more curves. It's more towards the positive side, even if it's a negative word which you have used, negative emotion which you have used. If you're using more of curves in your scribbles, it's a positive empathy indicator. Okay, you're more of an emotional person. Angular ones are more logical. Not, I wouldn't say it's a negative thing, but you're very logical and straightforward, clear cut things, which can often get you into trouble. A mixture of angles and curves is a function of emotional intensity, wherein you're a little confused as to what's going on, Zigzag and irregular lines correlate with anger, hate, and pain. Okay. And rising lines often signify a lot of strength and ambition. Big lines, very elaborate lines, zigzag lines. And very low lying lines indicate weakness, listlessness, and depression. So try to figure out what you have done in your scribbles and try to relate it with each of these scribble meanings. Again, I'll give you a glossary of scribbles and its types and what it means in your PDF. Till that point of time, you do a little bit of introspection as to how these emotions are relating.
Can I share something?
Yes, please.
Ma'am, I got hate, aggression, mother, and jealousy together. And for father, I got forgiveness, despair, anger, and father. I got these two grouped up together. And now that you explained that how the lines and curves work, I was really bummed when I got hate and jealousy for my mother, where I don't feel like that, but there is some sort of aggression. And then you said
Underline.
about the curves.
Right, right.
And there was that underlying emotional turmoil going on, and with my father, there are very strict like lines going on, and it's very clear. So yeah,
Right,
that
right.
makes sense. But I was very confused initially, but thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ma'am,
So you
ma'am, one
will be a little
question.
confused, but eventually you'll get the hang of things because it's a very elaborate field of work. Yes, one last questions, and then I'll send you a link where you can send in your queries. I'll try to answer as many as possible. Yes, please.
Ma'am, when we are looking at Scribble, are we also looking at dots? Because like sometimes we are joining with dots, and then because I could see some
Yes,
dots
yes,
in my Scribble.
yes. Dots are indicators of pain. Pain. Okay, those are called pain dots. If you have scattered dots, those are pain dots. It can be a
And ma'am, like,
manifestation of physical pain also.
hmm. Ma'am, also like my question is like here, if I use sketch pen, will that be because sketch pen will have lots of dots, right? Like if I use
Yes,
so
lots.
how do I interpret? Then sketch pens would not help much than rather than
Sketch
using
pens we generally discourage, but since if it's okay, if it's a scribble, but if you see a lot of dots in all of the scribbles, then you may just ignore it. Okay, it might be a blot.
got it. Yeah,
Okay,
ma'am, one more
so
question. When we are
we
doing
are at
this
the
with
end
this,
of.
it has
Yes, tell me quickly.
uh, it doesn't necessarily we have to have this biological mother and father, right? When we are working with
No,
children, some of them
no, no,
it
no.
was just father and mother figure, right?
Yes, yes. We have to keep in mind father and mother figure. It can be a husband or a wife as well. It can be any other caregiver who was there and dominant in their lives. Okay, so it's
Got it.
end of
Thank you.
day one. I'll give you a lot of more details in the PDF, which was not possible to cover in 1.5 hours, 2 hours. So a few more details. Assignment for this week would be doodles, the mood tracker, and the scribble activity, which we just did. Do it on yourself, not with anyone else for the time being. Just do it on yourself and try to introspect. And if you have any questions, I will be sending you a link where you can post in your questions. Do not DM me because there are so many people, 150 up, because everyone, if I have to answer, that will be very, very cumbersome. Assignments I will discuss in a separate video. I'll send the video to you. You go through it. If you can't understand, get back on that. Same applies to the internship and case study. So thanks a lot, everyone. I know it was a long session, but
Thank you so much,
thank you
ma'am.
for staying with me. I hope you could relate to what we learned today. And
Yes.
next Thursday, we'll meet at the same time. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
ma'am.
Thank you. I'll get back on
Good
this.
night. Surely, ma'am.
Bye.
Thank you,
Good night.
ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. It was a very nice session. Thank you. Got so much of insight. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye. Good night.